All right, everybody, welcome back. We got to bring the energy level back down a little bit after the end of that previous game, but this is still hype. Game number 3, we've got Navi going up against Mineski. Some very different drafts from what we've seen in this series so far. Danog, what do you make of it?
I think it's a game of firsts, right? Like, it's the first time that we've seen the Centaur be picked up from Mineski. It's the first DK that we've seen from Mineski. It's also the first Omni Knight. Oh, sorry, the Centaur.
Centaur for Navi. We know what you meant.
But it's the first Omni Knight as well. So I know that KP has played it a fair amount in the past. He tends to go this really greedy build where he can just run at the enemy heroes and try and take a lot of the time.
What is that build
they need? You go into like the drums. You can even go at Sanjin Yasha. If you get a ton of farm, you can even go Radiance. Just take full advantage of the 90 damage talent that you get at level 15 if they want to end it earlier rather than later. And I really feel like that's the way they want to go about this, because the way that they like to build up this Juggernaut is going the Diffusal Blade. So it's a natural, counter. It doesn't change up your playstyle to try and counter the Wraith King in that way for Ajit.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what KP goes for, because it feels like to me the last time that we saw Omni being popular, and this was back when he still had Repel, a lot of it was about getting like phase drum Yules, so you still had maybe a little bit of control on the hero, but he can also buy a lot of these aura items that are so popular at the moment, your Vlads, your Crimsons, your Guardian Greaves, that kind of a thing. So I think his build is really going to determine the pace of the game a lot for Mineski, though they do have I would say their lineup's fairly simple to play, and I love how much teamfight they have this game. As we do have the Bounty Rune picks up, and it looks like Ajit going to secure 2 down here on the bottom side. It is going to be 2-2 across the map.
Yeah. Febi's actually camping up in that top lane behind the trees a little bit, so maybe trying to isolate someone so that KP's able to chomp him down really quickly.
Yeah, he's being a little bit sneaky. Has this Fissure at the ready. What's the plan? I'm a little bit surprised not to see him not opt to like Fissure block his own wave. Instead, he's actually blocking the enemy wave and kind of trying to force it underneath the tower somewhat, though Crystallize does successfully manage to aggro that back and get things in a good position. So not what Mineski were hoping for right at the start of this game. Crystallize kind of reading Febi in that situation, though. Blizzy getting gone on at bottom, Ajit already laning with the auto attacks, and both offlaners getting zoned out pretty heavily at the start, though I would say KP having a harder time.
Yeah, a slightly harder time. Obviously, there's going to be a bit of bias coming from me with the Winter Wyvern picked up on Mineski.
Right, so we've got the Australian on Mineski, and you've got Winter Wyvern.
Yeah.
So should I even bother asking for your prediction this game, Danog?
Honestly, I think Navi have the better lineup.
Okay, well, there you go.
But the heart...
You've betrayed us.
Right, yeah.
Zach, he'll have some words with you later. Don't worry about
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, we have a quick pause. Hopefully just a quick one.
So one thing that I haven't really seen, obviously it's a lot harder in a fly.
Okay, all right, Boogie fly on his screen. Hopefully he's gotten rid of that now.
Yeah. Something that we don't see happen as much in pro games as opposed to, Magical actually getting gone on a little bit.
Yeah,
Could be safe though.
Just some harassment from Febi more than anything, right? If Magical chooses to actually stand here and fight, then Moon can always run over. They can both start laying him with the auto attacks. But so far, this mid lane going much better for Moon than the matchup went for Limp, who struggled really, really hard against this Lina on his Dragon Knight in that kind of unfortunate game.
Finishing, what, 8th in the net worth?
Yeah, I mean, he finished with just...
It was about 3,500 net worth.
Yeah, treads and like a bracer or something.
Yeah.
Pretty sad time. Was he getting some damage onto Ajit here?
Yeah.
Seems like they know that the supports are away, so they are just going to punish him pretty heavily.
And Ninja Boogie doing what he's been doing throughout, rotating through with these, when these wards do come online, both the bounties as well as the river ones. So those are the times where Navi kind of realize that. I think they know how
Febi
to play. Oh, cheeky.
All right, well, okay, so it looks like he knows that he's got this invis, so not going to let him snipe the courier. Very nicely played. Do you like that Febi is spending his time mid? Because if he wanted to, he could be top with his boots. He could be dragging waves for KP right now. But instead, he's opting to prioritize pressure on the mid lane, secure the lane for the Dragon Knight a little bit more.
Well, because he's not, KP's had to rotate through, stop this camp from being denied to the neutrals. Just means more and more fun.
Spin at bottom, Blizzy in some danger. Body blocks as well. Nicely played by Ajit, and that's going to be your first blood. Nothing that Misha could really do to save him. We'll throw out another dual breath for a little bit more harassment, but that is about it. And Febi's actually stacking camps at the same time, so not just harassing the mid lane at the moment.
Well, it's not another fly this time. Something a little bit different, but...
Is someone's camera a little bit smudged? Someone's just a bit out of focus, it looks like.
A tiny bit.
Yeah, well, not a big deal.
But we've got, as you said, that stack starting to come up, right? So even if Moon starts to get pressured a little bit more in this lane, has a rougher time, which honestly he's doing quite well in the mid lane so far, he does have that comeback potential with these neutral camps that have been stacked up.
We said KP was alone on top, and he is getting gone on right now, taking quite a lot of damage. Needs to get these skeletons off of him before he can pop this salve, though I don't even know if that salve's going to be enough for him to stay around in this lane for too much longer. We'll see what he ends up doing. Febby still just, he's lurking. Magical knows that he's there, but Febby is, I guess, just trying to get in his head a little bit. Constantly sitting here, pump faking. Doesn't want to steal any experience away from Moon, but wants to make his presence known.
He's stolen a little bit, despite having more denies on this Dragon Knight. He is behind the Lina in experience, maybe just slightly inching ahead just then, but he's rotating towards top now.
Oh, Misha now caught out at bottom. They picked this Jug, and he's having a great start. 2 kills for Ajit so far. Do you like I guess the same point to what that I talked about for Mineski. Do you like the way that Na'Vi are playing this bottom lane? Should they be just playing the lane straight up, or do you think that they could be backlaning or pulling creeps or just trying to get a little bit more creative with it down here?
I mean,
they're going for Chu up here. I don't know if this is an easy kill.
He'll be safe.
Yeah, he's fine.
I think one of the best heroes to actually do that backlaning is obviously the Centaur. You know, you get the Retaliate stacks up, you can quickly clear it out with a double edge. You're probably not going to die. You know, coming up, it would mean a full rotation.
Misha getting gone on once again. Blizzy, can you actually do anything to save him? Doesn't really look like it. Ajit right on top of him. It's going to be yet another kill. They also get the Arctic Burn onto Blizzy, and they're auto-attacking into him. This is quite a lot of damage from Ajit, and he does have boots. Chasing him down on the top side of the map. Chu also getting gone on, and it looks like he's going to make it back to his tower, and so too will Blizzy. But this is a lot of pressure being put on Na'Vi in this laning stage.
Ninja Boogie going for both bounty runes as well. Looks like he'll be able to snare the one on the Dire side.
Oh man, that's going to be a lot of gold for Mineski. Yeah, look at this gold gain just rack up more and more. And that is already a 2K net worth lead 5 minutes into the game. They are under the tower here at mid. Magical, what are you doing here?
Got Febby coming through.
Yep, forces out a TP rotation. Febby also making his way through. Nice Fisher, going to prevent Magical from getting back up onto the hill, and he doesn't land the Light Strike Array on anyone. Everyone on Mineski just dodging out of the way. One more Breathe Fire from Moon, and that'll be a nice, easy kill. I think he knew what he was doing. He was hoping to force the TP rotations, just didn't realize that Febby had also already drifted over into position. And yeah, there you go. Hashtag Febby. Chat wheel's one thing. All chatting is another.
Yeah, something else entirely. That Retaliate really starting to do a lot of work in the bottom
trouble
lane.
For KP at top as well, getting caught out. Nice rotation from Misha, giving up on the bottom lane somewhat. Instead of opting to go and help out the safe lane.
They're diving in here.
Yeah, Moon not going to get caught by the stun though. And are these TPs going to end up being cancelled? No, Misha actually does complete his TP. Boogie finds himself a haste, so could go and get some very sneaky observer wards down.
That's exactly what he does. Might look to drop one behind this 2-1 tower. Oh no, he's actually going in deep.
Yeah, a little bit of harassment here onto Misha, just being a nuisance. Making it more difficult for him to stick around and potentially defend this tower.
Yeah. Still got about 30 seconds left on this Elder Dragon form. So.
Blizzy getting gone on, but just going to go for the immediate TP out. He is TPing straight to the shrine though. Maybe waiting to pop that a little bit, try and grab a little bit more farm.
Yeah, not doing too bad. We can see in terms of the experience, Ajit having a pretty good time here in this bot lane.
Yep.
It's obviously going to be good for him to accelerate that as much as possible. And no Midas this time being brought up by Crystallize. He's going straight into the Radiance, realizing the need to protect against any sort of early aggression coming from Mineski.
Do you like the build in this situation?
More than the Midas.
Okay. It's a nice farming item. There are going to be probably at least the one blink maybe on Mineski being picked up by Febby.
And you've got a lot of physical damage coming out as well.
Yeah. I think the other thing for me the one thing for me this game is that it seems like Mineski, I think they have the better team fight, right? They've got 2 very clear team fight supports. They've got quite a lot of setup as well with the Winter's Curse. Getting blocked in here is Crystallize. Has not skilled up his ultimate just yet. I don't know if he has the point available. He is actually floating it, but looks like he might not even need to. Gets out of the range of the tower and we'll be okay. It was almost a perfect Fisher block, but...
We see a lot of... oh, actually going in a little bit deep here.
Yeah, this is they do have level 6 up here on Ajit, so... potentially looking for that kill, but instead they just kind of want the stack.
Yeah.
And Blizzy wants to get involved somehow, at least steal some portion of this experience.
Yeah, scoping it out a little bit. Have to be mindful not to lose this actual creep wave as a result.
Moon once again with the ultimate popped. Just chipping away at this tier 1 tower. This is what, to me, this is like one of the best features of Dragon Knight. Oh, Febby wanted to go on Magical once again and might still be able to. This is quite a lot of damage. And Moon closing the gap. Febby punching in with the double damage. Ninja Boogie also over here. Blizzy, will he be able to save his core? Magical gets brought down. Chu's also rotating over, but with no Lina, they've got no damage and no hope of killing any of these heroes.
Just didn't quite have the mana pool to be able to cast that Laguna Blade, finish off the Earthshaker, and then get away to safety. And again, Blizzy was forced to rotate because of that. So now it's a level 5 Centaur coming up against a level 9 Juggernaut.
Are Na'Vi actually going to have enough damage this game? Like, they've got good damage-dealing heroes, but Mineski are super survivable. They've got the Cold Embrace, they've got the Healing Ward, they've got all the heals from Omni Knight, presumably some auras coming in from him as well. I wonder if Na'Vi might actually run out of damage in some of these fights.
I think
it could happen?
I think Magical will do a lot. I think you're underestimating the amount of magic damage that they have as well on Na'Vi. Obviously, the Cold Embrace, you need to be sitting right there in position. So that's just an easy combo for both the Lina as well as the Jakiro to put it onto.
Yeah. So, well, I guess we'll have to see. The Dragon Knight with Heavenly Grace is going to be real scary this game, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be up in your face. He's going to be ultra tanky. He's already got 2 bracers picked up for Moon. What build do you like to see from here? We sometimes see Radiance on the Dragon Knight. It's not completely uncommon, but to me it feels like because KP's not really the initiator, maybe a Blink.
Yeah, I don't mind the Blink at all.
They're going for KP. Speaking of him up top, he did get the Heavenly Grace off, so able to run this off somewhat. Pretty tanky, 1400 HP. Febby looking to come in and close this off as Moon also rotating. They split up the supports from the cores and just focus the softest targets first. Go for Chu. Now look towards Misha. Doesn't even have boots or a TP on this Jakiro, and he's just going to get run down, it looks like.
Or is he?
One more stun.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no escaping from these 2 heroes. And once again, Mineski finding really nice fights right as the bounty runes spawn, and they're going to get 2 at bottom and 1 at top.
Really nice value for them. Not needing too much of a rotation coming through. I think Febby was walking up towards there anyway. He's got the Tome of Knowledge coming out to him as well, so he'll be getting closer and closer towards that Echo Slam.
And Misha TPing into mid. Not really doing too much, maybe trying to get a D-ward or something. Magical doesn't need the bottle refill. He's got an Arcane bottled at the moment.
Yeah.
So
KP doing a little bit of what I thought he might have done.
They're going for Blizzy at bottom. They have managed to slow him down a little bit. He's got the Stampede. Not willing to use it. TPs are coming in. They're actually looking for the turnaround, but he doesn't land the stomp successfully, though. The creep wave turns up, and an unfortunate time, and Ajit overextending, perhaps. Cold Embrace going to buy him a few more seconds, but Na'Vi are here and ready to go. They were actually smoking on the Shadow Shaman and the Lina as that happened, but they're going to be more than happy to just TP into bottom and secure that kill for themselves.
I'm really surprised he didn't use the Omni Slash slightly earlier. That was a guaranteed kill in my...
Right after the spin?
Yeah.
That was, I guess, wanted to hold it, gets a little bit greedy, and does end up being punished for it. Moon just rotating over to top.
Yep. KP's doing what I think well, I was a bit confused about why he wasn't doing it earlier. You know, he's got the 1 point just now in the Heavenly Grace, and he's able to just walk forward. That bonus strength obviously helping with your own tank ability, but also you can just right-click a lot harder.
Yeah, where does he go from here? Does he max out the Grace, or do you want to see more points in degen? Ajit, all right, finds Magical, getting some damage onto him. Chu, don't know how much he's really going to be able to help out, but Ajit needs to be careful as the spin runs out. He needs that last auto attack to finish the kill, and Chu couldn't quite lock him down in time. Ajit also chasing for one more. Chu, what can he even do? The crit chops his head clean off, and Ajit finds himself an easy double kill. Bit of a misplay perhaps earlier, but making up for it.
Yeah, and Febby's really happy he was able to farm up a lot of these Mass Serpent Wards. Might even deny the tower. Yep, gets it off.
All right, well, Mineski are just going for these early active items, and Na'Vi are being a little bit more passive about this whole situation. Still kind of waiting on that Wraith King to pick up some items. He does still have the Radiance queued up. Crystallize is sticking to his guns, and it seems like similar to Game 1, I guess similar to Game 2, Na'Vi happy to just kind of give things away a little bit in the early game, though I don't think it's quite the same level of late game dominance for them in this matchup.
Yeah, play in the late game, it seems, and you know it's always going to be a lot harder when you don't have something like a Sniper that's 6 slotted on your team.
Yeah, and Sniper just had amazing matchups in that game, right? past a certain point, wasn't really all that scared of the Mineski cores. But
Absolutely. KP.
It is a Radiance for the DK.
Yeah, Radiance for DK, and they've got just about enough to pick up the drums as well on this Omni Knight. So they'll look to continue this pressure moving forward. I think, is he ahead of the Wraith King in terms of their progress towards that Radiance? They're right about even. So nicely done by Moon on a hero that can have a tough time farming up in the early game.
They've enabled him super hard this game, right? Like Febby going for the little bit of harassment at mid. They've been playing around him really nicely. This is how you love to see Dragon Knight play. And I think Dragon Knight, fell out of the meta a little bit around the time that Viper really came to prominence. He doesn't like playing against him at all. Ninja Boogie, ooh, gets the TP out. Forces the Stampede as well.
That's my favorite voice line.
Okay, there you go. What level is that?
Oh, it's just silver. It's really easy.
Okay, all right, there you go. Everybody go play some Winter Wyvern before it gets nerfed.
Yeah.
So Mineski just pressuring top. They've gone for 2 drums so far on their team. Just lots of little items. Of course, they are kind of building up towards the Radiance, but where do you think they go from here? Especially on KP. I think his item build is the most open for me in this game.
Yeah, well, he's got the drums now. You're able to just accelerate your farm so much more. When you hit that level 10, similar to the Wyvern, right? You get the 90 GPM talent. It just... You're so far ahead of your opposing, position 3, if that's the case. Centaur, yes, he has better AoE farm, but we've seen in the early game that in terms of items, he's nowhere near on the scale of KP.
What are your expectations, I guess, for KP? What's his job in this game? Is he frontlining? Is he sitting back so that he can get a purge with the Heavenly Grace? I think where is he playing in the team fights?
Yeah, sure. He's not the catch for the team. I think that's really going to be put onto Moon as a...
And the supports.
His main role. Yeah, and the supports, I suppose. I think you can afford to have the Winter Wyvern be that instant initiation and then use KP as more of a counter initiation. So you kind of have that flexibility and the variability to be able to change things up a little bit. I mean, they're looking to contest KP at this bot rune here.
Yeah. All right, he does have the Heavenly Grace out, so Lockdown not really keeping him in place for all that long. They are going to throw out the Yules, trying to keep him here, but Mineski waiting up on the high ground, going to throw out the Curse just to try and get KP out of harm's way, but they're still missing 2 heroes down here. Na'Vi actually choosing to disengage this. Blizzy going to try for the TP out, but Febby was right there the entire time, and once again a Stampede forced. Not really getting anything from that.
Just came up as well. Really nice placement of the Winter's Curse. Made sure to secure off that entire ramp, so there wasn't any sort of reinforcements that could come and help to finish off KP.
And with that, we are just kind of back to farm stations for a second. Do you want to talk about Winter Wyvern item builds a little bit as well? Do you like what Ninja Boogie's doing so far?
I think he was planning on going into an Urn, which is, it's all right. And I like that he's gone into the Arcane Boots as well. A lot of Wyverns tend to go the Tranquils. I think you need to be spamming spells too much for that to be a viable option. The way I go into it is a Glimmer Cape and an Aether Lens, and I think Ninja Boogie is of the same mentality. He always buys an Aether Lens whenever he has the gold. And we can see so much space is open for him in this top side, so he's just slowly nuking down these waves, getting a lot of gold for himself, and I think he'll be able to run away from Chu as well. Yeah, that's the great thing. You're just so slippery that you can pop your Arctic Burn, fly over the trees, and just TP out if you need to.
And even if he dies there, right, it's a lot of space created, it's time wasted for Na'Vi as they come up to deal with that wave, and everybody else just kind of farming in the interim. They've got their Radiance up online now. Blink Dagger's getting close on both sides as well. I think Blizzy and Febby almost have theirs picked up, and we do actually, in fact, have a smoke making its way out. Mineski, they've got another Omni Slash that they're keen to use, and they do spot out Magical. Need to be careful of that Yules, though.
Yeah.
So not going to opt to go for him in this position.
Not fully committing just yet. I think we've got the Radiance being ferried out for this Dragon Knight as well, and he's queued up that Blink Dagger for next.
All right. Poor Boogie is having a hard time with the some of the local flies.
I think there's a thing.
Oh, man, the Radiances are almost exactly the same time. Okay. So both teams have a Radiance now.
Honestly, I think they'd just both be happy with that.
Ajit in a bit of a dangerous spot. We'll just go for the TP out. Oh, cancels the TP actually to keep on walking away. Okay. Decides that he'd rather be up here. I guess that's why you force it. You stand there and you watch him complete the TP, right? A little bit of lockdown onto this Earthshaker. He's very, very, very close to his Blink Dagger, but Febby is going to get caught here and pushed back just a little bit on that timing. Could give them an opportunity to have the Blink up on the Centaur before the Shaker has his.
Yeah, not really too much was done either by Mineski in that trade. You know, you had the Wraith King sitting there with his newly purchased Radiance, pushing out the wave. No risk of that tier 2 going down.
Boogie, again, using his Arctic Burn. Yeah, just sneaky wards. I don't know if they actually saw him. Well, okay. Based on the pings from Misha, I would guess that they have an idea that of what he just did. And Mineski, oh, this is very convenient. 18 minutes, find themselves a DD. Ajit's just picked himself up this Diffusal Blade. So very strong fight potentially. The Wraith King going to have to be very careful about this Juggernaut in the upcoming fight. And Na'Vi not really moving over to defend just yet. I guess they want the blink on the Centaur really badly. Yeah, absolutely, but he's got it actually. Have it, yeah. It's still going to be a little bit though until it actually is usable around this Roche Pit. The great thing about the Wyvern as well, you've got such a small space to be able to contest. You can get an easy Winter's Curse off, even if it doesn't kill someone. It just denies the space. Yeah. Do you think that's a fight that they just couldn't take? Misha looking pretty dead in this situation. Drum getting popped, and he is completely isolated from his team. Tries for a little ring around the Rosie. They used the Stampede to try and get him out of there. Also charging in towards bottom where Febby at least finally has his Blink Dagger picked up, and Boogie, suspecting that they're going for something here, is just hanging back right behind his other support. Yeah, oh, they're trying to chase him down. You've got Moon TPing in. Doesn't have the Blink Dagger just trying to TP out, not realizing exactly what's going on here. He summons up the Skeletons. I don't think it's going to do that much damage. Ajit looking to burn out his mana. Big crit as he loses his first life. Chu just going to go TPing out, and Crystallize looking dead twice here. Radiance not helping him nearly as much this game as he gets auto-attack down. Look at that line, immediately drawn onto the minimap. They want to push forward now. Yep. Smoke immediately used. I think they just picked up the Blink Dagger. It's just got onto Febby right now. So it's going to be revealed in this upcoming team fight. Yeah, and they actually still have this ward over here. Wasn't dewarded earlier, and so Ajit's just charging straight forward. They do see that the Shrine is available, so they need to let them get away from that before they go for the fight. And looks like they should just be able to grab Chu quickly. The Hex is not going to do anything against the Heavenly Grace, and Chu just gets spun down. Navi's still running forward on the top lane. They need to get that pushed out. They can't let Mineski get all 3 lanes pushed up against their base. Yep, doing a good job for that. Tier 1 top running a little bit low, but you're losing a Tier 2 in mid as a result. Yeah, I mean, I was about to say there's some damage being done to Moon, but I just don't really see how they kill this Dragon Knight at this point. 2200 HP. He's got the Omni Knight sitting behind him, and they're just going to chip down the buildings. Navi, they have okay spam to defend their high ground, but again, I pose the question, are they actually going to have enough damage in these upcoming fights? And Febby will be very scary with still 40 seconds until this reincarnation is back off cooldown. Still got backdoor for another 5 or so seconds, but I don't think they'll mind too much. Yeah, and all they have to do is just sit back with the 2 supports, right? Yep. Febby at the ready, Ninja Boogie ready to go. Moon's just charging in onto Chu, and he's just out of position. There's nothing that they can do to defend him, so that's the Shadow Shaman dead. Crystallize is sitting here just trying to aggro the creep wave off with the Radiance Burn, but they've got the Siege Creep also helping them out. Blizzy now jumps in. They look for the Juggernaut first, but there's just too much healing, and they've locked down the Centaur. Does have the Stampede to disengage, and it looks like Mineski will just let him walk away, but the Tier 3, 21 minutes into this game, Mineski, this is what their lineup is built to do, and they're just taking the racks. Just the patience from Febby and Ninja Boogie as well, sitting right there on the backside, got the threat of the Echo Slam and the Winter's Curse. They're positioned exactly at the range that they need to be with the Fissure. They're trying to they're trying to backstab them actually at the moment. They need to be a little bit careful. The Centaur's back there. Ajit does seem to suspect what's going on though. It's getting a bit split up. Moon in a bit of a dangerous situation, but he's so damn tanky. They've already lost life number 1 on the Wraith King, and Blizzy just dragging the Omni Slash over onto his other hero. Blizzy in big trouble, getting spun on by Ajit. He'll die. Over inside of the base, KP and Moon are just standing their ground. They kill off Crystallize. It's 2 dead. They do have buybacks available, but Navi probably not interested in using them. They do still have Tier 2 towers in both top and bottom, but are Mineski just going to keep on going here, Danog? There's nothing stopping them. They're going to get this Tier 2 in the bot lane as well. Probably going to take the Shrine. Well, I don't even know if they need to take the Shrine. They can just go on to this high ground straight away. Yeah, the Dragon Knight is protected just by virtue of his tankiness. The Aegis of the Immortal is on the Juggernaut, so he's also safe and sound, and probably the most straightforward game of Dota that we've seen so far in this series. Yeah, they should keep pushing right now. They've got all of their ultimates except the Elder Dragon form up in 5 seconds. Sorry, Omni Slash down for 80 as well, but you don't have the Mass Serpent wards. You don't have the reincarnation for another minute. And if you're Navi, what do? Do you have to wait out the Aegis? So they're trying to smoke up and make something happen, but Yet, I just don't think they have the damage.
Yeah.
What is that on the ground?
They're trying to catch Febby behind.
Okay.
Like just so that
Again,
there's
the
not
wraparound.
fear.
Yeah, they want the supports, but Boogie's deep inside the trees. He's going to be difficult to get on top of. And the Echo Slam immediately onto 2. Febby's not going to let them anywhere near Ninja Boogie. Sends them both to their grave, and that is the GG called. It only takes 1 Echo from Febby, and that is going to be the series for Mineski as they move forward onto the grand final.
Fantastic positioning coming out from Mineski.
Oh, what a convincing game.
Yeah. 19-3.
Yeah, we hadn't seen the Omni Knight. I don't even think it needed to do anything too flashy this game. Mineski just put together this. We've got the team fight, we've got the 5-man, we've got the push, and they just go.
Yep.
And Na'Vi didn't really adapt to the differences in the draft. They went for something that was comfortable for them, but it seemed like Mineski kind of had their number.
Yep, their first loss on that Wraith King. And so they're going to go into this lower bracket thinking, was it the Wraith King or was it something else? Did we just not see the Omni Knight coming?
Of course, they do still have the lower bracket to go. They're still guaranteed a top 3 spot. They have to be a little bit afraid. There's some scary teams down in the lower bracket at the moment. Keen versus TNC coming up. But there you go, your boy Febby. Very excited with the win.
He's very happy. And who can blame him, right? Like, his positioning in that last fight was fantastic, as was Ninja Boogie's throughout, right? Yeah. In Game 2, perhaps it could have been criticized a little bit, and maybe if their positioning was a little bit better pre the 30-minute mark, it could have been a complete 2-0 sweep. But Game 3, they rectified it. They realized the limits of their heroes. They were comfortable. That was the important thing as well. I don't think we've seen Febby on Avenge for quite a while, at least performing at the high level that we know he's capable of, but that Earthshaker was a great performance, knowing exactly when to rotate, some great Fisher blocks, making it so that Magical didn't win in the mid lane, and giving the Dragon Knight such a great start.
Yeah, it feels really reminiscent of their series against the Pango, right?
Yep.
Maybe a little bit touch and go at the beginning, but Game 3, when it counts, Mineski really show up.
Absolutely. Well, it was a quick one, certainly a lot quicker than the 74-minute game that we had for Game 2, but we're still going to throw to our analyst desk to see what they think.
Thank you very much. Yes, Mineski and Na'Vi departing the main stage, but it is Mineski that move on to the grand final. Of course, the good news for Na'Vi fans is that that's not the end of the line for them. They will get another chance in the lower bracket. They'll meet the winners of TNC versus Keen, which will be our final series of the night. Gents, that's a much more straightforward game for Mineski, and just all-round well executed, all off the back of the DK pick.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I should say it's kind of, it was enabled by that, but it was the fact that they had this pre-prepared. It's like, this is the last game. If we win this, we get into the grand final. The Omni Knight third pick up. It's like, all right, what's going to enable this? How do we then push up? And they stuck to their plan, as we've seen Mineski do time and time again throughout this tournament. They knew what they were going to do, and they followed through with it perfectly.
Yeah, this is a lineup that needed to be able to, at least from Navi's side of things, they needed to be able to take control of the game a little bit earlier. And they were already down by like 2,000 gold by 5 minutes. This sort of lineup, especially with the Omni Knight, and DK is actually, I think, one of the perfect heroes to actually have synergy with Heavenly Grace. Most strength cores don't actually take advantage of the bonus strength that you're getting out of it. But DK, because he's both a frontliner, a hero that you don't want to go on because he has that Heavenly Grace, and he's your objective hitter as well, that bonus in strength actually allows you just to be able to march through buildings, and you could see Na'Vi had no way to be able to stop.
No answers to those. I'll get more from you in just a moment, but I'm hearing that KP is ready on stage with Eri, so let's get an interview with him right now.
I am here with KP taking the win, going 3 games against Na'Vi. KP, talk us through Game 2 and what it took to come back from losing like that.
I feel like Game 2 we kind of lost to ourselves, so we didn't really think we were gonna lose Game 3. Honestly, it was just the top tier, the top Rex push, and yeah, we all knew we just lost to ourselves. We just play normal next game and we should win.
So you guys said, okay, we gave that away, move on from it.
Yeah.
All right, Game 3, talk us through it. You guys had a convincing win fairly quickly. Talk about what kept coming into graph and, of course, executing how you guys did.
We kind of expected their picks. Firstly, it was the Wraith King and the Rasta, and then we also expected the Jakiro. And I kind of planned out the Omni Night pick, so we kind of just...
Lastly, how does it feel to have Febby back with you guys? And you know, he's been making a case for himself, for the Mercedes as well. I want to see how you feel about that.
Well, everyone's been talking about the Mercedes and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone is like on the Febby train.
Yeah.
But I recommend you guys not to vote him, because the reason is you should vote for me.
You should vote for KP. There you have it. Anyway, congratulations, KP. You guys made it over to the grand final. Congratulations. Why don't you go ahead and sign that to officially get that started. There you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for KP. We'll see them tomorrow for the grand final. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, we have TNC versus Keen Gaming for your final match of day 2 of ESL One Mumbai.
Yeah, good stuff from KP there. Also putting his own claim for the Mercedes-Benz as well.
Yeah, I guess second place at TI is not enough money to buy a Mercedes,
Nope,
is it?
Nope, not enough, obviously. Needs a little bit more. It's also the first time Mineski have made a final here at ESL One. Their previous best was 5th, 6th, so good news from them. Navi could still, of course, go back and join them for their second final at ESL One, but whatever happens, we're going to get a new champion, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. I just love the fact that like KP's willing to say, like, yeah, we knew what they're going to pick. It's exactly what we were saying up here in the panel, right? Navi draft the same stuff time and time again. You know what they're going to do. You know how to counter it. Omni was already concepted before they came in.
It was a good strategy that they put together.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you heard him say in the interview as well, that was something they pretty planned as well with the Omni Night.
Yeah, and that's just the downside of being a team like Navi, who telegraphed their picks pretty early.
Sure.
I mean, I feel like this is, you look at their drafts for this tournament, and you're going to see the same sort of stuff.
But let's get context on that, though. New captain, stand-in,
yeah.
Kind of, you know, there's a limit to what you can do there, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the point I'm just trying to say is that the skill is there for Navi. They're a great team, but in order to win tournaments, you're going to need a bigger, broader depth. And that is something that will just come with time.
Yeah, I mean, they're not out of the tournament. Still finish top 3 regardless, whatever happens.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's enough time between now and tomorrow for them to fix whatever they need to fix in there and broaden that a little bit? I mean, they can add something to it, can't they?
Yeah, I think that there's like just that little bit of extra spice that they can add to it. They're not going to be a liquid or secret overnight, where they're just able to have this wealth of strategy available to them. But I think they can just add a little change up.
Okay, let's catch up with Misha now, who's with Sir Action Slacks for a few words from the captain on the other side.
Thank you so much. Hello, Red Eye. Thank you for so much. I'm here with my boy Misha, one of my favorite interviewees of all time. Hello, how you doing, boss?
I'm doing fine, you know. Just played a wonderful map.
Yes, that was an intense series, sir. I really want to ask you about Game 2. It looked like it was a pain in the ass to come back in that game. How was it for you guys playing it?
Like minute 11, I clicked on my course. It was like 2 Midases, and I thought like I'm on ranked. So I just wanted that to end as fast as possible, but we won somehow. I think they threw it. We had to lose 2-0, I think.
Yes. All right, I see. So you feel like it was less you guys winning, more them not being able to finish it?
I think a bit, and Magical played a wonderful game.
Yeah.
He's very good.
Good to hear.
Game.
Yeah, so take it from you then. Midas on those heroes all game, making it painful for everyone else. Do you recommend?
No, I do not recommend to do that.
Please listen to this, man. So, it feels good to not have a elimination interview. You guys are still in it. So what are you guys going to do tonight to make sure that you're prepped and ready for tomorrow?
Fix some drafts. Some talk about what we're going to do on the laning phase, on the game, default Dota stuff.
I see.
I hope it works.
Okay, me too. What do you think about the team you're faced up against? How do you think that you're going to fare? Have you practiced against them yet?
You mean the team we're gonna face tomorrow, or Mineski?
No, the team tomorrow.
Who are we gonna face?
Uh-oh.
I actually don't know. Keen Gaming?
Yes, Keen Gaming, that's correct.
It's gonna be ultra hard.
Ultra hard game. But you guys have practiced though, you've been researching them though, right?
Yeah, I think we played against them. We also scrimmed with them. It was very rough. I hope something magical happens.
Well, I think something magical might just happen. He is standing over there. So, all right, man. Thank you so much. Prepare for tomorrow. It's going to be a fight, and we'll see them tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, Misha, for taking the time as well. He said, you know, they've got a couple of things in there. He also did a good service to all pub players everywhere.
Don't build those Midases, boys. Remember we were talking about how this is a lineup that is going to need to be able to play, you know, faster in Game 2, and then it just goes through 70 minutes? Well, those Midases are probably a big factor in that.
Yeah, don't do that, pubs.
Yeah.
No need.
I like Misha's attitude, though, especially when it came to just the honesty about Keen Gaming.
Yeah.
Again, want to emphasize that Keen Gaming probably should have won that Game 3. The situation that they were in with their death profit and everything, I mean, they were so far ahead, and then it just kind of gets thrown away. And now we hear that scrims were pretty rough as well. Keen Gaming is a tough team, and to have to face them in the lower bracket, potentially.
Let's not get carried away.
Yeah, I don't know. The Slack is just like, yeah, you're facing Keen Gaming.
Yeah.
We'll see.
There's still one more game.
I think it's likely.
Yeah. Well,
probably.
We'll see.
But
that's next.
We don't script this. There's no scripting here.
None of that. There is a little bit of scripting. That scripting is usually done on the weather board. So let's join Persian and see what he's got from game number 3.
So far in this tournament, we've seen a lot of AFK farming between both teams when they feel like their lanes go well and they can drag things out until they get to a good win condition. That's why I really liked what Mineski did with the Omni Knight here. It allowed them to position and do things that normally you'd get punished for. So in this moment, KP goes forward, uses Purifying Flames, but the Heavenly Grace skill is reducing all the disables by 50%. So he gets to contest the creep wave. That way, Wraith King doesn't get a free tower, and then his team can teleport in, rotate, and get a bunch of kills. He also did this for bounty runes. You know, when you're AFK farming, once in a while there's things and objectives on the map that you're more or less forced to get, and KP can actually contest this because, again, of having Heavenly Grace. The enemy team shows up, they throw out their disables, most of them are wasted, and he buys tons of time for his team to grab bounty runes, which is ultimately turns out some more kills. And then it obviously transitions at the end of the game with the Dragon Knight. Heavenly Grace on him, he's hitting buildings, he's got lots of net worth advantage because of the space that was created and the things that Heavenly Grace afforded him early on. So I thought it was a really cool draft, and though it may be a little bit obvious in this last clip here, that skill is huge for grabbing objectives and forcing your opponents to react in ways that you don't want them to.
Good indeed. Thank you very much, Perch. Yeah, good example of the impact that it had on that game.
Yeah, certainly. It's a unique ability. Oftentimes it looks really bad. In this game, it looked good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the trouble, isn't it? When you see it like that, you sort of go, well, why aren't people picking it more? But it's still very situational, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. So you need to be able to build a lineup around it, and you need to also know what you're matched up against. Like, for example, the early pick of the Wraith King really makes the Omni Knight look strong, right? Because you've got these disables that you can shrug off. You already had these supports. They actually picked the Jakiro into it, but before that, it's good against the Shadow Shaman as well. The strong Dispel mechanic is good. It's just that it's not Repel.
Yeah. Repel used to be that free ticket, like I can do whatever the hell I want and you can do nothing about it because there was no magical damage and no effect from it either. So it was just a simple, I can run at you and I dominate my lane, which also meant victory. But then I like the pairing they had it. Like you had Febi's ES and like he gets his lockdown, then you get your burst damage as well, and you get the ticket to dive under. So it was great to transition from both that dual laning phase into my DK is really big, they couldn't kill him off in mid. Fantastic, let's go. He had pipe, he had drums, it was all the items you needed to enable.
Again, that's why DK was such a good synergy with it. You need, if you don't have that repel, and the hero hasn't actually changed that much besides that, then you need something that takes advantage of the other parts of this strong dispel, and that's going to be the bonus strength, and even a little bit the regen as well. The regen's nice for a lot of these strength heroes just because they're naturally tankier, they survive longer, therefore the regen